Alright, let's get ready and get going. Today we're going to do cuticle care. Let's start by confirming that we have everything on our tabletop. Then we're going to take some notes on our journal. And then we're going to we do have to make sure that we get done at the 9:40, but by the 9:40 bell, so that we can prep for our social and for fourth lunch and clean up. And then we also have our onboarding for the last day for onboarding for Reboot. Remember that Reboot starts on Monday. Okay. You have your purple tabletop. Mine's a bit dirty because I've used it for second and third period. You have your napkin, your cotton ball. You have your emery board, your metal, your orange wood pusher, your 2 metal pushers, and your nippers. You have your disinfectant spray, your hand sanitizer, your acetone, your cuticle remover, and your cuticle oil. You have your journal, your markers. 3 things that we talked about, I believe we talked about yesterday, and we'll ask in a second, but your 2 nippers and your scissors, we're not going to use these today. We just need to talk about it. Did we talk about what these were for yesterday? We went over this? Okay, so then we can leave these out. Some classes I ran behind and didn't explain, so we don't need those necessarily. Okay? Alright, my loves, you have washed your hands. We're going to go ahead and get started with our journal. So if you will go ahead and open up your journal, past your semester final, past the table setup and appointments and consultation cards. Don't forget to be studying for your test on the anatomy of the nail. We're going to talk about the growth later on, and let's skip to the section that talks about cuticle care. Now I am going to put the colored version right next to it so you can see color-wise the picture a little bit better. And let's begin with our notes. This is cuticle care. Our can opener didn't work very well, and I grabbed the lid to the cheese and I didn't realize I cut myself, so I have 2 thumbs up band-aids, so just ignore that for today. Alright, cuticle care. A lot of gentlemen do not like to come in for manicures, but they should. Some of them need to. Some of our gentlemen teachers on campus love coming for salon days. They really enjoy it. So don't forget to ask them, hey, Mr., we have salon day after, Mr. whatever the name is. We have salon day after school on XYZ day from this time to this time. Would you be interested in supporting me? I just learned this new service called cuticle care. This is what it's about. It's 15 minutes. It's $5. Would you like to book an appointment? Ladies like it too, but you got to make sure to tell the ladies it's not a manicure. Not a manicure. A lot of times ladies expect polish with manicure. Remember, we're a la carte, meaning that you pay for your manicure and you pay for your polish. So it's $10 instead of just $5. If you don't want a manicure and you just want polish, it's $5. But if you want both, it's $5 for each. Okay? Alright. So, Mr. Rhodes is one of our best clients. So if you have him or know him, ask him. He will always come and support you. There's others, but I know he's always number 1. Okay? So don't hesitate to ask. Don't be embarrassed to ask. If you don't ask, then you're poor, right? Because you're never going to get clients. You're going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. Alright, so cuticle care. We're going to go ahead and get started with that. First, you have to go in order, okay? First thing that, in general, you have to make sure you apply cuticle remover. Now, let's talk about cuticle remover and cuticle softener. So, I gave you, and my bottles are not labeled yet, but I gave you cuticle remover because we had it. We didn't have cuticle softener yet, but when we get it, I'll give you some to put in your containers. Cuticle softener is for a client that comes in that doesn't have a lot of cuticles that you need to push back or remove. Or it's someone that constantly is a regular and Eileen always comes in twice a month. She always gets a manicure. I know that I service her. I take care of her cuticles. I don't need to work a lot on her. I don't need a tough product to get through her cuticles. So I'm going to use a softener. The cuticle softener is going to soften the cuticle so I can gently push it back. She doesn't have that many or that much, and we're good. Now, if you have a client like Ms. Ramirez that gets a manicure once a year because she's busy or whatever, or it's a gentleman, or it's your first time client, someone that has a lot of cuticles, then you use cuticle remover because you need the product to work for you so that you can work faster. Does that make sense? So you either pick softener or remover, depending on the client. Always read the manufacturer's directions on what those products are, do, how long to leave it on, how to care, etc., how to remove it, etc. Okay? After applying your product, you are then going to push back the cuticle either with a orange wood stick or a pusher. Two reasons why you use two different tools. We have two metal ones, but I'm just going to take one for example. Okay, you're either going to use a wooden disposable tool that you're going to give to your client when they go home, or you're going to throw it away after each use, or you're going to use the metal one that it's either rounded or the flat one. We're going to talk about the why you would pick what later, but the metal one that you have to clean after disinfect after each client each time and is reusable. Okay. Which one do we do, the stick or the pusher? You'll have a preference, so either you pick the, I have got to take the time to clean it, or I can throw it away and I don't have time. Either one. This one, in the long run, costs you more money because you got to spend more money to continuously buy these. This is cheaper in the long run, although these are more expensive up front. Okay? So, do I take my client, Eileen? I do her cuticles twice a month. I know she doesn't have a lot of cuticles. This is a tough product, a tough tool. I really don't need this because I can gently just use this because she doesn't have a lot of cuticles. And I can just gently push it back with this. That's for her client, for that client. Client that's brand new, client that's someone that doesn't really care for their nails, somebody that has a lot of cuticle. This may not be enough, tough enough, so I maybe need this. Right? So which one? You choose your favorite and then your preference, and then look at the client through your consultation and see what tool you need. Right? When you have a bowl of spaghetti that you had yesterday, are you going to wash with your hands? Are you going to wash with the soft sponge, or are you going to need the scrubber? Right? There's different tools that do the same thing. They just work a little bit different according to what you need. That was from last year. After you push the cuticle back, then the next thing that you're going to do is that you're going to add moisture back to the cuticle and add your cuticle oil. You have applied remover or softener that has a particular pH strength. You have done all the things, pushed, nipped, all that. Now you've got to restore the pH by adding cuticle oil. You restore the moisture so that way you can help the cuticles heal and stay healthy and moisturized so you don't end up getting hangnails, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay? That's the general order. Now, let's talk about the actual removal process. So we have this bit right here, and I guess I'll do it in pink so you can see a little better. We have what we call the proximal nail fold, aka what we called the other day the mantle. Okay? The mantle is this bit right here. Now I'm going to color the rest of the finger here, the skin, so it will help you remember that the mantle is skin that is alive. Meaning that if you cut it, like when I cut my thumbs this morning trying to open up the can of cheese, I didn't even realize I did, so I put hand sanitizer on. When skin is alive, it does what? What comes out? It bleeds. Yes, blood. right? If you cut the mantle, the client will bleed. When you bleed, that means there's a hole in the body, okay, that now has to heal, so therefore you then have a scar, right? It's an open wound. If you have an open wound in the body, while it's healing, you're more prone to get an infection because bacteria, being ever so tiny, can get in through that hole into the body. Worst case scenario, the client can catch some staph. They can get a staph infection of some sort, and they chop their hand off because the staph infection spread, or they didn't catch it in time and they died, right? We'll get to those scenarios at a later time, but it's possible. Worst case scenario being very exaggerating, but possible. Don't cut the mantle, okay? We do not cut the mantle. Do not cut the mantle, okay? We do not cut the mantle. Cut the mantle is kind of like taking the back of your jeans and you have a hem on your jean and you cut it and you step on your jeans. Over time, what does the jeans look like? They're all ripped, right? They're all frayed. That is the same concept. You cut the mantle, she's going to look like this in a few days. I don't know how many times I see on social media when I'm sitting there wasting my life scrolling through Instagram, but I look at all the nail and aesthetic stuff and I see these people just cutting away at the mantle and I'm like, stop. And it looks beautiful because it's clean. Sometimes you can really tell like they cut too much because it's red. It's really nice and rounded. The cuticles are great. The polish is perfect. The lighting and the oil and the filter looks a great picture. But I want you to show me the picture of that client's hands 2 days later, or by the end of the week, right? So don't cut the mantle. Now let's talk about the cuticle. Cuticle does not grow evenly. So cuticle here does come to the side walls. So you do have to kind of pick at the side walls too. And you can barely see it. Kind of goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and it like really is a lot over here on this side. Then it goes up to the side wall. That is your cuticle, right? It's jagged. It does not grow even. You hardly will ever see it grow even, okay? If you don't push the cuticle back, remember we had the nail and we had the cuticle that's attached to the nail because it's a transparent, sticky on the bottom layer of skin. It's dead, right? The nail grows, the cuticle grows with it, and it stretches the mantle, and it goes. Eventually, if you don't push the cuticle back, the mantle will begin to rip and you get hangnails. Holes in the body, holes in the barrier of the skin of the body, which is the epidermis of the skin, okay? Allowing infection to come in. So we know that cuticle is dead. So when you cut the cuticle or when the skin is dead, right, it does not bleed. Let me darken this a little bit so you can see it better. Okay. Mantle is alive. You cut it, it will bleed. It takes time to heal. Cuticle is dead. You cut it, it does not bleed. When you push the mantle back, your client's going to feel it because it's alive. When you push the cuticle back, your client's not going to feel it. When you cut the cuticle, your client's not going to feel it because it's dead. Right? All right, so scoot up a little. Let's come down here. We're going to highlight, I'm using the same color. We're going to highlight our cuticle, which is kind of jagged here, goes up a little bit here, and comes down. Now you'll notice your cuticle is a little bit in the middle higher than the rest of the nail, the cuticle area. So therefore, as it's pulling, you've got your little bit of hangnails here. Now when you sit there in math class and you're chewing your hangnail and then you swallow it because you're gross, okay, we all have done it. You're eating yourself. These here take time to heal. So when her hands, when she takes that initial picture coming out of the salon, she's going to love it, or he, whichever. A couple days later, this is what all her pictures are going to look like, and the hand sanitizer, lemon, all the things is going to hurt, okay? Don't do this to your client. This is not professional. that this is not good because they can catch an infection. And then should something really happen, they can come back and sue you, right? Because, you know, you did something to them. You didn't have them sign a waiver. In return, they got a staph infection. They chopped their hand off. Whose fault is that? Yours, because you did your job wrong, right? So please do not cut the mantle. Mantle, this little thin, this is permanent marker, sorry. This little thin sliver of skin right here, even though it's so tempting to cut it, do not cut. That is the mantle. Do not cut. These little things here, we call them hangnails. This right here. Well, this is the aftermath of a hangnail, to be completely honest with you. A hangnail is when the skin starts to lift, and then you rip it. When you rip it, then that's when you have your little scab things going on. Okay. Any questions about the theory part of cuticle care? When we do our salon service menu, you can offer this service, and it is called cuticle care. Make sure to tell your people, especially the ladies, it is not a manicure. Because all you're doing is what we're going to do today. Okay? It's not a full-blown manicure. Alright, we're going to do cuticle care, which is also part of our prep. It's our nail prep. So, have you ever gone to get your nails done and your nail a few days later or a week later, it pops off? And then you've got like 3 nails missing or something crazy like that, right? They didn't pay attention during this day of class, okay? If there is cuticle left on the nail and you didn't push it back properly, that is the barrier between the artificial nail, gel, acrylics, dip powder, press-ons, gel, all of that, and the natural nail. So then that means the water's going to seep in, that cuticle is going to keep growing, the water's going to seep in, and it's going to start to lift. When you wash your hair gets stuck in your nails, and you're like, I'm pulling the hair, right? And then it eventually will pop off. Worst case scenario, bacteria gets in there, mold grows, infection, all that, okay? So, you've got to prep the nails properly. Now, today if you're right-handed, you're going to do your left hand. If you're left-handed, you're going to do your right hand. Today, you're going to do yourself. If you have artificial nails, you can still do this. Just don't use the acetone, and you can still push. It's not going to mess up your fake nails, okay? So, let's talk about your station prep. Now, when you're setting up your station, sometimes you get a little nervous when you're getting and going, and you forget your steps. And you're in front of your client, you're like, oh my gosh, you're sitting there massaging your hand, like panicking, your armpits are tingling, you're sweating, you're like, oh, I forgot the steps. Help yourself. So, what I mean by that, set up your table in a sense that you're putting your things in the order that you're going to use them. Now, pretend this is my station. My client, she's sitting right in front of me. I need to leave this space clear because this is where her hand is going backwards, right? This is where her hand's going to go. If all of my stuff is here, then her hand's going to go here? Her hand's going to go here? No, that middle section's got to be clear, first of all. Second, besides labeling everything, which I have not labeled my stuff yet, but put your things in order. If you're right-handed, right side, left-handed, left side. Okay. You're either going to go from the top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. Totally up to you. Okay? If you have little baskets, even better, because then you just can move your little basket and you have to move everything one thing at a time. So, first thing we do is sanitize our table. So your disinfectant spray goes first. Then we're going to sanitize our hands, so our hand sanitizer goes second. Your third step is to remove polish, so then your acetone goes third. Then you're going to apply the remover, so your remover is next. And the last step of your service is your, cuticle oil, and that goes last. Product-wise, I go in order. So if I'm sitting here, I'm at stay board, I'm doing my service, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot, I blanked, what goes next? And I start looking around. You can't do that. Start looking around, she's doing something different, you're freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail. You've set your stuff up in order, so look at the order, calm down. Okay, I did that, this is next, this is next, this is next. So if you help yourself, trust me, you're going to thank me later. Just put it in order and it's going to work out good for you. All right, so tools, same thing. Put them in order. First thing is we're going to clean the nail. Okay, then we're going to file the nail. Then we're going to push back. I put these just together because we're going to try all three. And then we're going to nip. You do not nip at State Board. You do not nip clients. I'm just going to teach you how to do it today. You're going to do it yourself, and then we're not going to do it again. We're going to use it again because I'm going to teach you how to nip lemons so you can practice the skill, but we don't do this in school. Okay, so anyway, it's all in order. Take your picture the way it is so that way you remember when you have a cuticle care. Man, what did I need? Let me take a picture. Let me go back to my picture. This is my table setup, and this is my order. Okay. Don't forget to post it to promote your services and yourself as well on social media. Okay, so again, I apologize, my mat's a little dirty. All right, it's clean. It's just been spilled on. So first things first, I'm gonna pretend I just sanitize my table. It's the first and the last thing we're gonna do. So let's pretend we did that. Second, I have sent my client to wash their hands, and I have washed my hands because I don't know if they were picking their butt or their boogers before they got to me, so I'm just gonna have them wash, and then we're gonna sanitize. I'm gonna model to my client, so I'm gonna add sanitizer to my hand, and then I'm gonna add sanitizer to her or his hand. Always. Okay, so I'm gonna sanitize, and some clients are like to chew, and then they go like this. No, because if you get germs on your body, then you just put it back on, right? So I do what I want my clients to do, so I model for them. And some people just go like this, but if I go like this and I take time, they're gonna follow what I do. Okay? So lead by example on that. Okay, now we're not gonna rip our cotton apart, although this is the one that I ripped apart yesterday. We're not gonna rip it apart, but you can, should you choose. We're gonna do it just as a one cotton ball today. All right, if you have artificial nails, or if you got nail polish, this is how you hold the cotton ball. You're gonna take the cotton ball with your scissor fingers, and you're gonna hold it in the middle to where the cotton does not touch your nails. You're gonna open up, and you're going to pump down to pick up acetone. Now your pump is new, so remember you gotta pump it a good long while. Mine isn't working, so I'm just gonna pretend. Okay, so now I'm going to pretend my cotton ball is soaked of acetone. Okay, so once I've got acetone in here, I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to place I'm going to use my finger. I'm going to place my cotton ball over the top of my finger, and I'm going to hold like this. So my nails are not getting messed up because it's not touching any of the acetone. Okay, I'm just holding it, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to allow the product to do its job. So I'm going to let it soak. I'm going to ask her, how's your day going? How are the kids? How, do you go to school? How's work? Did you like how you painted your house? Whatever you want to talk about. Don't sit and talk about yourself. Don't sit and check your phone. It's all about the client. Okay? Build that relationship with the client. So if I allow the acetone to sit on the nail, it's going to eat away at the product, the nail polish or whatever you have. And then when I swipe down, the whole thing is going to come off. If this is what people do, they get it, doesn't matter how you grab it, and they start to do this. Right? Because we want to get it off. I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine you're in a car and a bird poops on your windshield. And the windshield goes, doot, 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 doot. What happens? What's happening? You're spreading the poo, right? So I'm telling you this, you will forever remember that when you do this, you're spreading the nail polish. State Board, you have to use red. Red is the worst color because it's so hard to get off. So if you're sitting there doing this, you're just spreading red all over the skin. Okay? Let it soak. Let the product do its job, which is why you paid money for it, and then swipe it down and done. Now, let's say you do that, and you still have a little bit of polish lying around, or you got to clean the underneath. After you do that, you take a little bit of cotton. You're going to place it on the tip end like we learned yesterday. And then you're going to come in and you're going to clean up the little bit of polish that you may have, or you can clean up the underneath of the nail. Okay? So, if you needed to do that, you could do that. Okay? To remove. Questions on removal. Okay, so that's how you remove. You would do each finger. Now, if I have my little cotton ball and I have red nail polish right here, the bird poop, on my windshield, and I take a wipe and I wipe the bird poop. If I take that same wipe and I wipe my rear view mirror, I'm just spreading the bird poop, right? I need to flip it to a clean side, or get another, which is why I rip it apart. Get a clean side or a clean cotton and then do the next finger. Does that make sense? That way you don't spread the product that's on here. Okay, pretend we've done all 10 fingers. Okay, we don't have time to do all 10, I'm sorry, or all 5. Okay, the next thing, okay, I have acetone, I forgot what I'm doing, look at my products. Okay, next is going to be removal. So I'm going to take, typically you wear gloves. Today I'm not making you, but we will be wearing gloves, but today you're not. So, it's not going to eat a hole in your skin, don't worry, but I'll teach you a trick. So before you open it, your gel will be at the bottom, so you got to like do this situation to make it fall down to the bottom. Okay? Then open, and you're going to pour out a little bit on the back of your hand. Just a little bit. And then don't close it with your fingers so you don't get it on your finger. You're going to tap it over your napkin and wipe on your napkin. Okay? And your napkin should be clean. So it, you're not touching the skin to the bottle. You're just dripping it down. Okay. Now, let's pretend we're wearing gloves. Okay? Wearing gloves. So you're going to take you put it on the back of your hand. You're going to take your pusher. You're going to pick up a little bit of remover, and you're going to place the remover on the around edges of the cuticles on all fingers. Pick up and then place on the cuticles. Pick up product from the back of your hand, scrape it up and apply. Pick up product and apply. Pick up product. At this point, you should have picked up all the product and apply. You should have scraped up all the product. If you have product left over, you pumped out too much. You're going to take your pusher and you're going to wipe on your napkin to get that product off. You're going to take your napkin or cotton ball, add some hand sanitizer, and you're going to go on the back where you put your remover and wipe off, and it's going to neutralize, and that product's going to stop working. Therefore, it does not damage the back of your hand on your skin. That is only if you're not wearing gloves. The reason I do this is so that I'm not tempted to take my bottle and touch the cuticle of each finger to my bottle, and then I cross-contaminate. If I had blood on my cuticles and I touch the bottle to my fingertips, then now my bottle is contaminated with blood. So this is to avoid cross-contamination. Okay? All right. Instead of sitting here looking at my clients, so Ashley, we're going to wait 5 minutes so that the product soaks, right? This is the part where if you needed to, if it was part of your service, you would then clip the nails with your little clipper, which we're not going to do today, that's not our focus. Or you would file the nails and shape them. We're not going to do today because that's not our focus, but this is the part where you would do that. That's why, after removal, that's my next tool. But we're not going to do that today, okay? Now, the reason why we fill it in here, put this in here, so that it gives the cuticle remover or softener enough time to work, okay? So put that to the side. Okay, let's talk about our pushers. We're going to do our thumb together, and then I'm going to let you do the rest of your fingers on your own. We're going to take this all the way to the very end, okay? If the client doesn't need a lot, and this is a tool you're going to use, go ahead and take your orange wood stick. Now, you cannot hold it, I'm going to do sideways, you cannot hold it like this and push back because you're going to poke the client. You can mess with the matrix or the nail root if you do it really, really hard and you damage the nail. You can cut them, poke a hole in them, make them bleed, and just hurt them. Don't hold it flat like this because look, that's sharp. And if your hand slips a little bit, there's no grip on this. If your hand slips, you're going to poke a hole. Okay, you're going to damage the nail. You're going to hurt the client. You have to hold it at a 45-degree angle. Okay, 45-degree angle. So I'm going to put my pinky underneath my thumb. Doesn't matter right or left finger. I'm going to push up with my pinky. I'm going to push down my thumb. And then I'm going to hold that at 45-degree angle, and I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to sweep and scoop and push and scrape gently from side to side, making sure that I'm working from the midpoint, the middle of the nail, to the cuticle. Now my nail is going to turn white because of the pressure I'm pushing, and my nail plate, and then my actual mantle is going to turn kind of reddish because I am pushing on it. Okay? Now, if you feel pain, you're doing too much, so back off some. Okay? It should not hurt. I'm going to go ahead and take my pusher, and I'm going to
ADA attendance reminder.
I'm going to pull my pull down on my napkin. It's going to remove my product. Okay, so now I'm going to go with my rounded, the one that has a little scoop spoon, my rounded pusher. This is metal, so this is for the client that really needs it. Okay, it is kind of a probably stamped out of sheet metal, depending on what kind of what brand, what material it's made out of. It is curved, so if your client's nail plate is curved, you can use this one. Same thing, not straight, not flat, but at a 45-degree angle, pinky on the bottom to push up for support. And then you're going to push in. You really are going to feel that you get a little bit better of a grip because it has grip on the actual tool. When you push back, you're going to really feel it. Even if you close your eyes, you can feel if you're scraping the nail because you're pushing too hard, or if you are getting caught onto some of your cuticles. Okay? Really get into the side wall of the nails because sometimes cuticles creep up to the side of the nail. You're going to see on the top and bottom of your tool that product is accumulated, so you're going to take your napkin and you're going to clean the underneath and the top side of your tool. Now let's try our last one out, guys. Before you try this one, it's got two 90-degree corners. If you look at it from the side, it's got a kind of blade-like shape on the edge. It's thinner, and it's pretty sharp. Be careful. Don't push as much as you did with the other two as you do with this one. If you feel a scrape, it's because you are scraping the layers off of the nail. Look at your nails like it's going to poke you in the eyeball. Do you see how thin it is? It can only go so much thinner, okay? Be gentle. So put your finger under your thumb, 45-degree angle, and with your first scoop, you feel it. Push gently. Go to get those 90-degree corners, get those into the corners of the nail there on the cuticle. It should not hurt. If your client is in pain, you need to back off. So I tell my clients, I said, okay, during the service, if on your feet or on your fingers you feel a little bit of pain, sometimes, clients feel uncomfortable saying something. So if you just kind of move your hand a little bit, it kind of just tells me to back off. So I'll back off. So I'll tell my clients that. Just tell me if I'm being too vigorous or if I'm being too rough, and then I'll back off. And so it's a safe way to allow the clients to communicate with you without them feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be rude and say something. Because, you've sat there and you're like, ah, right? And you don't say anything. Getting your nails done is not supposed to hurt. Not supposed to hurt, okay? If it hurts, then find somebody new because they did not pay attention in class. Alright, so when you're done, you're going to go ahead and take your cotton round and you're just going to, or your cotton ball, and you're just going to wipe it down. Now, you have removed from the finger, now you've got to replenish and replace. So you're going to take your cuticle oil, you're going to open it up. Do not, if I had blood on my cuticles, I can't touch my bottle to my skin because then I'm going to contaminate my bottle. So I'm going to drip a little bead, and careful because it drips easy, a little bead of cuticle oil onto the finger, and I push my finger downward so it drips down. And then I'm going to massage it into my cuticles. Massage it into my cuticle. Now, if I have too much, I can wipe off. If you're taking your pictures, please wipe a little bit of the cuticle oil off. Don't make it look like you just dumped your hand in oil, okay? I've seen pictures where it just is too much. Calm down, it's too much, okay? We want it to be shiny, not soaking. And voila, you're done. Okay? That's it. You let your client sit back, you sanitize your hands, you clean your table, you take her to check out, you sanitize your table, put away, and then that's it. If you will quickly go ahead and do the same thing to all 4 fingers. And then that's it for today, and then we can go ahead and begin to put away. Okay? Questions about that? That is your cuticle care service. I'm going to go ahead and quickly go over our reboot so we can get ahead really quick.